captain for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and former Carolina Panther, and his father, Corey Miller, the pastor of pain. A 9-year NFL veteran with the New York Giants and University of South Carolina Hall of Famer. This is the Miller's Edge.
And welcome into this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody's having a great day. Good weather outside, and we got plenty of talk to get to. I don't know where I was going with that, Chase, but there you go. We are presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art sport experts. Try before you buy, nothing to lose. Make sure you guys check them out. You can find them here in Tuscaloosa, Midtown Village, right there off of McFarland. You can't miss it. Walk-ins are welcome, or you can always go to their website, which we're looking at right here on the YouTube stream. Again, we are streaming live on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked it out, you need to. If you want to watch me do the show, if you guys want to watch me put stuff on the screen, we will hear an interview with former Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy and Kalen DeBoer. We can watch that. Obviously, if you listen on the radio, you can listen to it. But if you guys like the visual and all that cool stuff, check us out on YouTube at The Miller's Edge. We would love to have you. You can interact with everybody else in the chat. And we're growing that community over there. So check that out. But in terms of the Good Feet Store, if you're dealing with any type of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain, you name it, you got to check them out. It will take care of it. As you guys can see on the website here that I'm sharing on the YouTube channel, clinically proven to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain in just 4 short weeks, 3-step process. You just pop these in your shoes and they get to work. You can't beat them, I'm telling you guys. And if you're wondering how that takes care of all that pain, it'll explain it on the website. Plus, more. You can figure all that stuff out there, and you can always schedule an appointment if you're crunched for time. You can do that, but again, walk-ins are welcome. But they are nationwide. In Alabama, we've got the one here in Tuscaloosa, of course. Great people over there. Go holler at them. They'll take care of you, but no different in Birmingham, the store down in South Alabama. You got to check them out. They are game changers. If you're like me, you've been dealing with a lot of pain. You don't have to be a former athlete, just anybody that's been dealing with that pain, looking for a solution. Well, this is the solution for you. Again, they are engineered to take care of all that stuff, because when you take care of your feet, you take care of your base, everything else is corrected, and it will eliminate and alleviate all that pain in no time. Clinically proven to do so in 4 short weeks. So guys, make sure you check them out. Again, that is the Good Feet Store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. In terms of what we've got on the table for today, a number of things we're going to dive in. Like I mentioned, we're going to break down this interview and listen to it with Greg McElroy sitting down with Kalen DeBoer. You guys know how we like to do. We like to listen and react to stuff, right? So we'll do that anytime Kalen DeBoer is talking to any of these coaches. You guys know the drill. We're going to listen to it, see what he's got to say, kind of gauge kind of the temperature of the team, status, all that good stuff. It's always fun to do that. So we'll do that. Plus, we've been talking a lot about this new commission under President Trump. His administration wanted to put an end to the madness in college football. Nick Saban was selected to be the guy, but after every single interview we've heard him talk about it, I don't know. At least if you're like me, you started getting a little concerned, right? That maybe, just maybe, he wasn't fully on board with everything just yet. Well, we've got some updates on it, and doesn't really come to a shocker to me, but we'll discuss what those updates are, plus a couple other little news and notes that we've seen scrolling around on X. So I want to remind you too, guys, if you guys ever got any news, notes, or anything that comes up you guys want us to discuss, send it in. You can always send it in via YouTube in the chat. You can always send it to us on X at The Miller's Edge. We got a lot of listeners that do that. They'll see stuff on X they want us to respond to. They tag us in it, and we do just that. Download that Tide 100.9 app. It is completely free. Again, we are live on Tide 100.9 as well, and you can drop that in an app message there. Or you can always call in 205-342-9904. That is the number to the program, and that is what we've got on schedule for today. Chase, I don't ever ask you how you're doing to start things off, but I need to do better about that. Chase, how are you? It's because we talk before we go on air, but I'll let the people hear how you're doing. Chase, how are you? How are you? I was going to say this. Yeah, this is the morning. Sorry, I'm getting used to the new schedule. How are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty well, Christian. Roll Tide. I'm hanging in there. The weather is nice. I can't wait to go for a little run. later in the day, but I'm excited for the things you're going to talk about today because it's a lot going on. So, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
yeah. Yesterday we had a pretty good conversation. I'm not going to lie. I knew there was going to be some I knew there was going to be some, I would say reactions, but the whole, the NIL buying the Mercedes thing, I thought it was a good conversation, though. I thought it was a very productive conversation, and thought that was good. So hopefully we can have another one of those today. Not on that topic, unless you guys just want to circle back, but we'll dive into some other stuff. First, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we definitely will jump into this stuff. I don't know where we're going to start, whether it's going to be the interview or some of these other little small things that have come up. We'll figure it out in this timeout. When we come back, we get rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
Don't buy your new or
What's up, Brock? You're on time today? Oh, no worries, man. Get in when you can, man. No worries. Yeah, I still got this. I got this. When did I get this? I think I got it when I was in school, though. I like it, though. It's gray. Kind of got like the, I don't know what pattern that is, but it's got like a black and gray pattern on the bill. Smooth, though. I like it. And it's like Nike Dry Fit, so smooth. Let's see. If you guys haven't already, you guys know the drill. Drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Always helps the channel out. Where should we start? This interview's like 25 minutes, so I'm contemplating. I mean, we're going to break it down. We're not going to probably go through the whole thing, and the good news is now that I can control things on my end, I can just stop it and start it whenever, which is cool. Yeah, I do too. You probably have more than me though, man. All the ones I have, I got from when I was in school, but I've kept like every single one though. So I have a lot too, but I don't doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised if you have more than me, Brock. Wouldn't be shocked. Let's see. I guess we could start the commission thing because that's shorter. I think we already got a call too, so maybe let's wait on the interview thing. Yeah, we'll do the interview in a second because I don't want to leave Pat waiting.
You and thank you, because without the donors, St. Jude wouldn't be here.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from my.
Okay. I'll make sure I don't play that audio because it's definitely getting copyrighted.
When you text EAT to 64,000.
Wow. Have y'all seen this? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Wait. Sound.
Computercareer.edu.
It works for.
John Gruden is different now, man.
A warm afternoon, the sky partially sunny with only a small chance of a shower, the high 84. For tonight, very pleasant, the low 59. A little cooler tomorrow, the sky partly to mostly sunny, the high at 79. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 81 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. I was kind of hoping we wouldn't be on the air right now. And the reason I say that, not because I don't want to be here. I'd love to be here. But I think that would have meant baseball would be playing right now if they won yesterday. Unfortunately, they lost. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Chase. I mean, very interesting game, man. Tennessee's they're a solid squad, obviously, but some of those innings that we played yesterday just were not very pretty at all. So anyway, we are live on air, and they have been eliminated, right? So there's that. That being said, we're going to wait on that interview, Chase, just because I know we got Pat on the phone line. It's a longer interview, so we'll postpone that for in a little bit. But if you're on the stream, you can see what we're watching right here. I don't know if you've seen this, Chase. Looks like Ryan Williams and Isaiah Horton are hanging out with John Gruden. Now, I don't know if you've seen, but he's actually working with Barstool now. And the former NFL head coach, Super Bowl winning coach, who obviously had some had some interesting stuff with his career. Anyway, he's working with Barstool now, but he does kind of what he was doing with was the NFL Network when he would do the whole pre-draft quarterback stuff. He's back to doing something with that. I guess he's now bringing receivers on board. Actually, I think he's been doing other players or other positions because I think, was it Genty? Maybe he was at the combine or somewhere anyway. But he's got Ryan Williams now, and I guess maybe Isaiah Horton, and maybe they're breaking down some tape. So I'd imagine there's probably going to be a video coming out soon. Other than this video that we're watching right here of them doing a TikTok trend, which they literally have John Gruden doing it. He's been acting totally different, Chase. I don't know if you've seen him recently, but obviously he's always kind of had some humor to him, right? Definitely a hard-nosed coach. But to see this guy, I mean, first he was listening to Migos. Now he's doing this fairy TikTok dance with Ryan Williams and Isaiah Horton. I'm kind of like at a loss of words, man. It's very interesting to see. Very interesting to see. That being said, let's go ahead and jump to the phone lines because we got Pat on there early. 205-342-9904. Let's see what Pat's got to say. Pat, welcome in.
Man, how you doing? Hey,
I'm
I
good,
want to talk to you about. I've been missing you. I've been trying to get through. It's getting hard to get in to talk to you, man. What a great show!
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, I want to talk about Jet Tamala, Tomalla. That I was the first one that started talking. We offered him, but I was on this guy before we offered him, and what a athlete that nearly 3,700 yards that he passed for last year, only 3 interceptions. He's out of Omaha, Nebraska high school there.
Wait, how do you spell his last name? I'm trying to look it up while you're talking.
Okay,
Pat.
it's Tomalla, and just Google Omaha, Nebraska high school quarterback 2026, and his name will pop up.
Yeah,
He just went to the Elite 11 in Nashville. He punched his ticket to the Elite 11 finals. Can you say Keelan Russell? That did the same thing. Keelan won 2 Elite 11 camps, I think, before he punched his ticket to the finals. And this guy, how do you think? But if you go on and watch his film, is what's incredible, Christian. That I wanted to turn you on to it is that. This guy is throwing one bomb after another. You don't throw for near 3,700 yards unless you've got, probably pretty elite receivers too. And but I mean, if you're throwing against cheerleaders, 3,700 yards is a lot of yards. And but to do that and have 47 touchdowns with only 3 INTs, that's incredible.
Yeah, no, it sounds like. I mean, I'm looking at his tape right now. Hell, I'll share it with our YouTube stream so they can see it. I mean, he said only 3 interceptions. Sounds like he's a pretty accurate kid. And how'd you find this guy, Pat? Because I mean, he's like I guess he's like the number 15th ranked quarterback, something like that.
I watch film all over the country, and Drew DeOrman turned me on to doing that. Drew spends a lot of time watching film. And it's just absolutely amazing. But this kid is phenomenal. And he has a lot of interest in Alabama. He's currently committed to Iowa State. And I'm just excited that he's going to make a trip to Tuscaloosa and see that we got a really fine mousetrap here.
Yeah, it looks like we offered him, I guess, pretty recently. He just tweeted
just in the last week or so.
Yeah, May 15th, he tweeted that he received an offer from Alabama. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't know too much about him, but it says he's number 1 player in Nebraska, number 15th ranked quarterback, number 234 overall. So obviously he's probably got, it's interesting. Keelan Russell, I don't know where he was at, but I know he was committed to SMU, wasn't on the map of a whole bunch of people, then ended up finishing.
Wasn't on the map till he started going to those Elite 11 camps. And, because when Keelan won Dallas, that was pretty special. But then from to go down, I think it was Houston or maybe San Antonio. He won his second camp. I can't remember. But then he went to the Elite 11 and he finished at the top. Now, there's a bunch of really hot shot quarterbacks in this group. It was in Keelan's too. And but to have that kind of accuracy, like I said, 3,700 yards, that's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, no, I mean, the numbers sound good. I'm looking at it. Yeah, about 3,700 yards, 47 passing touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. I'll be honest, I don't know like the competition he's playing against. I've never heard of this guy.
If you're throwing against air, that's pretty impressive. Throwing against air, come on.
Yeah, it still is impressive, but I'm not gonna lie to you, Pat. I mean, I would be curious just to see. I'm not doubting the guy. That's something for me just to, because there is a difference between playing, at least like where I'm from, we went up to like maybe 5A. I mean, if you could clearly tell a difference between our 2A and 4.
You know what I mean? And that's the same thing. That's the same thing with Alvin Henderson down there running against a 1A competition. Let's see what he does when he gets to Auburn. I hope that he's not the running back that he was in 1A. Oh my goodness! I mean, the booger eaters might have a slight chance. You know what I'm saying? Because we thumbed our nose at Henderson, and so he's going to be playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely be interested in kind of looking out for this guy.
We'll see what he does in the Elite 11 this summer.
Yeah, I was about to say that's always a good gauge, right? I mean, you see how Keelan Russell performed at the Elite 11 and any chance he got to go compete against other top guys. And clearly, if you separate yourself amongst that crowd, you really, will climb up the ranks. Not that the ranks are like the biggest determined, you get them as like the biggest determining factor, but it is a good gauge because
don't hurt.
Right. If you're going out there and proving yourself amongst the best of the best, at least, the guys that are supposed to be the best, obviously that says something. So, yeah, I mean, he's got a good opportunity to do that. I mean, I'll definitely I'll keep an eye out for him. I don't even know who the top quarterbacks in this class are. Let's click on this. I don't even know who.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Hey, that Henderson kid that we wanted out of Texas, he's way on up there, and he's committed to Houston. But he doesn't even appear to want to give us a look-see, let alone anything else. And I can't understand not even wanting to take a trip to Tuscaloosa. I mean, dadgum, we are a destination. I mean, we are a trip destination. Hey, look, just because I got crimson-colored glasses, come on, man. What do you think?
No. I mean, we definitely are a destination for sure. But here's the thing. It's hard to, with these top-rated quarterbacks, I'm not going to lie to you, Pat. I mean, they're the ones that are probably getting these big, hefty offers. So nowadays, it's a little tough to kind of know where their head's at with this stuff. I mean, no disrespect to Houston. I get that he's from Texas, but you know what I mean? Like, they might be throwing the whole house at him just to get him to stay at home. I mean, because they literally can do that. Hey,
Houston's got a lot of money.
Right, exactly.
Any way you want to look at it, they got guys down there that own oil wells too. Come on. And, it is what it is. And that's the same thing about, the other possibilities of really good players and stuff out of Georgia over there, that getting those players out of Georgia when they're so close to Athens is hard to do too, because they have a Hope Scholarship can take care if they're any kind of a student at all, that money from the Hope Scholarship. Now, they can't use the Hope Scholarship in recruiting, but they can use it as part of their NIL. Is that not true? Or part of their package? Is that right?
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm not 100% positive. I don't want to give you an answer.
Okay.
I'm not sure on that.
I think it is. I know for baseball and things, Alabama's one of the only hoodwinked people as far as scholarships on baseball, and that's what this new deal, if they can get it signed and get this thing, I think we're going to have more baseball scholarships available to get us on a little bit more level playing field as far as a deal goes. Now, we've offered a quarterback that is a top 20 baseball player. I talked to Drew DeOrman about him this morning, and it's going to be very difficult. Now, he says he wants to play baseball and football in the same deal. And from what I read, he has already contacted Alabama baseball in order to possibly make that happen. And that may be a way with Keelan Russell in place that we get a kid that could be focused on something else other than football. While he's waiting for Keelan Russell to move on, you know.
Yeah, Pat. I know. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was just going to ask you because I know. I'll be honest with you, man. I don't really keep up with the recruiting a bunch until it gets a little bit closer to it, and we have a list of commits, and I'm watching them to break them down. That way, when people ask me about them,
yeah.
So this early in the process, I'll be honest with you. I'm not too familiar with a bunch of guys, but I want to ask you a question because I know you do keep up with it. Tell me about this guy, Faison Brandon, who's committed to Tennessee. He said they've got him on 24/7.
Faison Brandon is another hot shot. It's going to be very, very difficult to pull him away from Tennessee. He does. I think he's going to give Alabama an official visit, Dave. But because they are hot on him. I mean, he is one of the hot dogs. But like I said, this kid that I just mentioned to you, Jet, he's got better numbers, but is he playing against better competition? Who knows? I would think that in the center part of the Nebraska up there, we know that Nebraska, even back within your daddy's day, they had big giant linemen that would walk in there on their hands and knees in order to play line at Nebraska and Oklahoma. And but all that's changed with the money that's available now. And that's why Nebraska has just kind of faded by the wayside.
That's
And, but that kid from Tennessee, he looks really, really good. And I think we stand a better chance with the kid at Tennessee than we do the kid at Houston. But
really? Yeah, well, that's why actually, I mean, he's from Greensboro, North Carolina, so he's not far from where I'm from. So I was just curious.
I mean, I hope that. I mean, I'm hope. Like I said, I hope that you get him on campus. I mean, we do have fabulous facilities. Kirby's gone over there and tried to make Georgia a cookie cutter and add a few more bells and whistles.
That's what happens when you win. I'll be honest with you, Pat. Yeah. I mean, shoot, when you win a couple of national championships, man, they're going to reinvest. I mean, that's what we've seen here in Tuscaloosa. I mean, with the success came a lot of other amenities, man. That's part of it.
Did you see down there where the Bama Bowl is? It looked like to me they're building another high rise there. I just saw where they're building a giant elevator. Right in the middle, they built the elevator and a steel staircase, and they hadn't built nothing else but those two things. And kind of looks like it's going to be about a 7 or 8 story building.
Dang, that'd be
and all that's built because of Coach Saban.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hate to say it like this, but yeah, I was going to say I hate to say it like this and then put it on one person, but to be honest with you, Tuscaloosa needs to thank Coach Saban for the last however many years they want to give him credit for, because the way this place has changed, and you know this, in the past 10 years alone, just because of the success that football has brought in. Oh man, it's not even funny how different it is.
Like the little change that they paid Coach Saban has paid all kinds of dividends.
Absolutely.
And I mean, just the way it is. I mean, people don't understand, but he's being paid too much, and nobody's worth that kind of money. Just look around town. Right here at the end of my street, they just built.
Your house is probably worth a lot more because of them, so probably keep that in mind.
No.
Not yours, maybe yours is different, but I'm saying in general.
Yeah. Oh, they raised my tax rate up. I'm getting ready to have to fight them with my son. He's an attorney. So I'm getting ready to have to fight them because they just jacked my taxes up, and we'll see how I make out.
Well, hopefully make out all right. Pat, I appreciate you, man.
Have a blessed one. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You too, man. Good deal. Pat's always going to put me on to some of these recruits. I'll look out for them. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't keep up with recruiting a whole bunch until we get, our guys or gets a little bit further on and these guys are at camps and stuff. I don't have the time to go through each and every one of these guys, too many. But I'm curious. I'll be honest with you though. I mean, with us having, you got Ty, Keelan, and Austin Mack right now. I mean, you still definitely probably want to take a quarterback, but we'll see. They definitely plan on it. So we'll see who they end up going with. I mean, a lot of these guys, these top guys, these look to be committed or not really on, or at least we're not really on their radar. So kind of interesting. But you just signed Keelan Russell in this class. If you don't take one, it's probably not the end of the world. Obviously, you need one for depth because Ty potentially moving on. I mean, that would leave you with 2 scholarship guys. So you definitely need one for depth purposes. But if you don't land, I guess, the guy, probably isn't the end of the world. Just probably need something for depth. So, yeah, maybe that Jet guy out of Nebraska is a good one. But like Mike said in the comments here, not many skill guys come out of Nebraska. So he's curious to see what the competition looks like. Me too. I agree. All right, we got to hit timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
Don't buy your new or pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from anywhere other than Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa. Their local team provides a 5-star buying experience and 5-star service. Shop local, MercedesofTuscaloosa.com, or go see them at 3200 Skyland Boulevard East, Tuscaloosa.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's.
Need another Texas quarterback. Well, you got one on that board right there. This guy right here. Is it Keyshawn? Is that how it's pronounced? Keyshawn Henderson? You never know. I mean, we always can flip one of these guys. But right now, I mean, just looking at it, a lot of these guys are already committed to some of these bigger programs. And I mean, we'll see. But like I said, I mean, if you feel that confident that Keelan's your guy, we definitely need to take a quarterback in this class for depth purposes, given that Ty's probably moving on. That leaves you with Austin Mack, Keelan Russell. You never know what a guy like Austin Mack could do, given that he, depending on how this season goes, where he ends up at, where everything's looking, could potentially say, well, I got a freshman in front of me. Probably not the best idea for me to stay if I want to play. So, I mean, you definitely need to take a quarterback. As I started talking about, I was like, yeah, we need to take a quarterback in this class. Really could take 2, to be honest with you. Really might need to take 2. But like I said, if you feel confident that Keelan's your guy, if you don't get your a guy that you really feel, obviously you want to only take people that you feel could play here. But there's also the strategy of sometimes you need guys that, and it works a little bit different in different positions. For example, quarterback, I mean, obviously, if you're going to recruit a guy there, you really want him to be the guy. But, you definitely need depth purposes. So, I don't know. Is there a way to look up, who's high on Alabama? And you guys probably know better than me with this stuff. Let's see. This kid's from California. We bring in a lot of California guys, huh? Well, you got an offer, but Kenji wants another Texas guy. This guy's from Texas, but not on our radar. I'll say this: so you gotta trust these guys in their
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. We just talked to Pat a little bit about recruiting, and I was kind of discussing it with the stream over on YouTube a little bit. More I think about it, definitely need to take a quarterback in this class, and here's why. I mean, you got Ty Simpson going to be the guy this year, barring any other changes. Redshirt junior, so could potentially come back. We'll see. I mean, if he has a good year, could see himself leaving. But that's really going to get interesting. Obviously, we're jumping way ahead. But, Chase, if you start to think about it, man, how does this whole thing play out? Because you could be in an interesting situation. Say Ty has a really good year, solid year. He obviously waited his turn to, you know what I mean, to stay here. Going into year 4, he's finally getting that opportunity. It displays that he clearly doesn't have a problem with patience, right? He's okay playing the waiting game and developing. If I had to guess, with him having a 5th year, I wouldn't be shocked if he would be interested or leaned into coming back to solidify himself before he goes to the NFL. Obviously, you know, if you have a good year, 1 year's okay now. You know what I mean? I know obviously the NFL is going to say, oh, well, we've only seen him 1 year, but, you know, they're getting a little more used to it now. Before, they really wanted to see guys for more than just 1 year, especially at a critical position like quarterback. But what I'm getting at is, Chase, you could have a little bit of a dilemma on your hands because you got a good player in Ty Simpson who would be coming back as a 5th-year guy. And again, all hypotheticals, and I'm not trying to, worry people, but it's just an interesting thing to think about. But then you also got Keelan Russell, who is your future, a guy that you put a lot of stock in. You guys clearly are really excited about, the coaching staff really excited about. And then you still have Austin Mack there. I would say, Chase, going into next season could look really interesting at this position. But going back to why I say you need to bring a quarterback in, if you do lose one of those guys, then it only leaves you with 2 scholarship quarterbacks. Right now, you only got 3 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster, unless I'm like drawing a blank or forgetting some. But as far as I'm concerned, you only got 3. Going into next year, you're looking at maybe only 2, depending on how it plays out. And really could end up being 1. Say Ty went to the league, Austin Mack says, hey, I'm not going to play behind, Keelan Russell. You only got 1. You might even need 2 quarterbacks in this class. And so it's definitely interesting. Now, this guy's committed, the one that Pat just brought up, he's committed to Iowa State, but clearly Alabama's interested in him because they went ahead and offered him anyway last week, because this guy's been committed for quite some time, about a month. Yeah, he's been committed about a month, so not very long. Anyway, you get my point. Wouldn't be shocked if we end up flipping him from Iowa State. That being said, definitely interesting. Chase, how would you go about that if you're Kalen DeBoer? And I know we're jumping the gun, but let's say Ty's the starter this year, has a great year, plays well, but obviously, it's only 1 year as a starter. His draft stock, is probably, we'll say, like 2nd, 3rd round range. He knows if he plays 1 more year of college football, he could, put himself maybe in that 1st round conversation. We already know the big difference of being a 1st round pick. You're talking about millions of dollars difference in the signing bonus. And we know how patient he is. Say he wants to come back for that 5th year, but then you got Keelan Russell here, who is the future. Chase, how do you go about that, man? If you're Kalen DeBoer, what do you do? And I'm posing that question for everybody listening, even in the chat here. What would you guys do? If you're the head coach, if you're Kalen DeBoer, Chase, I'll start with you. That's a tough decision to make. Ty wants to come back for a 5th year, but you also have Keelan Russell sitting there. We know how the transfer portal works. What are you doing, Chase?
Well, we paid Kalen DeBoer these big bucks for a reason, so I know he's going to make the right decision. I'm just putting it out there because we have trust in him. Well, I do. But if I was Kalen DeBoer, Christian, I'm rolling with the future. I'm rolling with Keelan Russell. We cannot have. I'm not going to say like he's a generational player, But what he has done on the field in high school and the amount of praise he's gotten since A-Day and how much his ceiling can be, I feel like we're probably going to see much of kind of not as much from Ty Simpson. Not saying he's a bad quarterback or anything, but you look at teams who've let go or who allowed players to leave, especially quarterbacks, right? It doesn't look so good. Like I don't want Alabama to be seen like, well, he's Keelan Russell for, let's say, like the Clemson Tigers, for example, is in the playoffs. That could have been a Crimson Tide. Wait a minute, he was a Crimson Tide. So you don't want to have that what could have been type of mindset. I think Kalen DeBoer, Ryan Grubb, the whole staff with Alabama football, they believe in Keelan Russell, what he brings to the table. He's seen competition. He has the arm strength. He has the tangibles to be a great quarterback. But I just feel like for this year alone, just give Ty the reins, allow him to really develop, get his draft stack up, like you said earlier, and then we really push towards the Russell era for Alabama football. And that's not to say, like I said, Ty is a bad quarterback. It's just, if you do not look towards the future, you're going to be in the past, and it's going to beat you twice over. And I think Alabama is ready for something new, especially with so many recruits coming in. It's just a new era of football, right? And you don't want to look back saying, because we wanted to roll with Ty Simpson, Keelan Russell is on this award, that TV show, like really bringing another football program to heights just because we moved on from him,
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just thinking post this season, that's where it gets so tricky. You know what I mean? I know, and I get you're still saying go to the future, right? Which I get that, and I probably would lean that way too. But it just is tough because you're also like, man, like I'll be honest with you, as a coach, experience means something, especially in college. And if you have an opportunity, so say Ty again has a good season this year, like a solid, very solid season this year, I almost would like. I would be torn because it's like, man, here on one hand, I could have the guy that just started this past year, and again, we'll see how the season goes, but I'd imagine it goes pretty solid, right? I could have him come back, right, for a fifth year. I mean, he's a seasoned vet. He knows everything. But then it's like, man, I can't keep this prize recruit that we saw something in early, right? We found Keelan Russell when he was committed to SMU. A lot of people were like, oh, Bama's taking commits from SMU now. The guy finishes, top 2 in the class, right? Yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie. They're gonna have it's gonna be tough on them going into next year. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen. Nobody can predict what's. Again, Ty could literally ball out and be projected to be a top 5 pick, and everything works out smoothly because here he goes onto the NFL, right? First round pick, Keelan moves up in that spot, and it works perfect. But I just know how the NFL works, and with quarterbacks that only have like 1 year of really going out there and playing, like they've got to see like a lot of potential in you to trust that 1 year is good enough to make them feel good about it, or else they're going to probably say, "Yeah, we'd like to see him come back." Not to say he can't go out anyway, but I just know the type of person he is. Clearly, that he waited here 4 years. If he doesn't have a first round grade and he's advised to go back to school, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to want to go back to school. I highly doubt if he waited this long to get his starting job, I highly doubt he's just going to be eager just to jump ship and go straight to the NFL, especially if it's not in his best interest. And that's what's kind of like, man, that's going to be really interesting. Because, I mean, seeing Keelan Russell, yeah, he's still making some of those freshman mistakes, or he was in the spring, which is completely normal, right? But you also see the flashes of, man, that dude, he can spin it, and he's making some throws that, only some very select people can make. Like, this guy is definitely going to be the future, you would assume. And you just can't keep on the sideline too long because we all know how the portal works. We all know how this stuff works. So I don't know. So, again, not to stir the pot or cause any worry right now, but it's just kind of an interesting thing to think about. I know we went to this from, Pat's comments about this quarterback in high school, but it just had me thinking. I'm like, dang, man, after this year, that's going to be kind of an interesting dilemma just to kind of see how that plays out. I mean, because we've seen, situations like, look at Quinn Ewers, right? Quinn Ewers had the opportunity to go back to school. People even advised him to go back to school, but you also had a guy in Arch Manning sitting right there who he knew literally that if Quinn Ewers went back to Texas, there's a good chance that job wasn't just going to be his. And there's a good chance that who knows what would happen, but a lot of people felt that it would have been Arch Manning's job. So he kind of, in my opinion, only had the options of probably transfer somewhere else or go to the draft. Well, he went to the draft, and guess where he ended up getting picked, Chase? 7th. And I'm just saying, that's a guy that, played a lot of college football, was a top recruit, all that stuff. And I'd have to pull up his stats from last year. Here they are right here, matter of fact. He was 293 of 445, 3,400 yards, 31 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. And we know, Quinn Ewers is a solid player. I wouldn't say he's like some elite quarterback prospect by any means, but he's a good player. He ended up being a 7th-round pick, Chase. You get what I'm saying now? So that's why I'm like, for Ty to leave school after this year and be a top pick, he's going to have like that type of year where they really feel that strongly about him. So I don't know, definitely an interesting dilemma. If you guys want to chime in on that, I'd love to hear your thoughts, because that's definitely something that is really interesting to see how they're going to handle. So 205-342-9904 is number again. What would you do if you're Kalen DeBoer after this season, right? Say Ty has a great year, but he's leaning on coming back to school for his 5th year. But then you also have Keelan Russell, Wade. What would you guys do if you were in that position? Let me know. Or you can always drop it in app message, chat message, all that stuff, and we can discuss it right here, live on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. Bregan DJ Uangale, I think that's how you pronounce it. TJ Finley were the only schools they haven't played for yet. Mike, that's funny. Unfortunately, isn't TJ Finley the one that got in trouble for something about a stolen car? Which I'm hoping that was miscommunication or something that he just was naive with. But yeah. Obviously that's a joke. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. Let's see where he's at. Matter of fact, because I want to say he got dismissed from Tulane for that. Did they dismiss him? April 4th, he was suspended indefinitely following his arrest for illegal possession of a stolen Dodge Ram truck valued at greater than $25,000. Matter of fact, I spoke to somebody that's close with that program. I think they actually knew a little bit of what happened, but I think something about he thought he was buying it for something. I can't remember. I just don't think he really knew what he was doing in terms of purchasing this car, and there's a disconnect maybe. I don't know. Very interesting situation though. But yeah, let me know what you guys would do with that. Chat's kind of quiet today. What would you guys do if you're Kalen DeBoer? Ty has a great year this year, but obviously, his draft stock not quite first round. He wants to come back for a 5th year, or he's interested in it. But you got Keelan Russell right there waiting. What would you guys do? How would you handle that? I'm curious. Hell, if you didn't have to worry about the transfer portal like that, you just tell Ty to come back and you kind of, tease that, hey, it's a little bit of a battle still until it's too late.
Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A warm
afternoon. Yeah, no, it is tough.
Sunny.
That's what I'm saying. It's tough because you got, on one hand, you got a seasoned vet guy going into his 5th year that's waited his turn.
Tomorrow, the sky
was your start of the year prior, or a guy that has potential through the roof.
Tide 100.9.
Open competition.
It's 85 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Thursday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. All right, Chase, the chat's waking up a little bit. We got some responses here. Again, if you guys listen via radio, got y'all's responses. Drop it in an app message, or you can always tweet us at the Miller's Edge. Call in 205-342-9904. Love to talk to you. But again, the question was, if you were in this situation, if you were in Kalen DeBoer's shoes, and again, I know we're looking way ahead, but it's that time of year. We're just throwing out some fun topics and some just random things, see what sticks. But this kind of stuck for me, right? Ty has a good year. He's still got 1 year of eligibility remaining. He's interested in coming back, but you got Keelan Russell, your prize recruit, who you know has probably the highest ceiling out of all these guys going into his second year. Eager to play. Obviously, he's expecting to play because I'd imagine he's still not counting himself out this year. What do you do? Let's look at some of the responses. Mike says open competition. Yeah, I think that's kind of how you have to approach it, to be honest with you. If you go into it making it seem like, hey, Ty's coming back, he's our guy. And what do you think Keelan's going to do? I don't think he's going to want to sit there for a second year. I think you kind of have to do that. Similar, I guess you could kind of look at it like when Jalen and Ty somewhat had another competition when Kalen DeBoer got here, right? Jalen was a starter last year, but with Kalen DeBoer, coming in, you got a whole new coach. There was a competition, right? Now, obviously, Jalen Milroe had the leg up because he was the returning starter. Would be similar to that too. And I think Ty is the type of person where you could tell him that, hey, man, like, we want you to come back. We'd love for you to come back, but we do have to, have a competition here. I think he'd understand that. So yeah, I think open competition, I think, is fair. Crimson Brave says, depends how good Ty is. If we go through a season with him and he's played good football, bring him back. If he stinks up the joint, lose us games, we shouldn't have that. Roll with the future. Absolutely. And that would make the choice pretty easy, right? But that's why I'm throwing it at you that, hey, he has a good year. The reason he's coming back, though, is just because, by NFL standards, especially at the quarterback spot, really, they want to see a little bit more than just 1 year, right? Quarterbacks, but again, other positions, you can probably get away with a little bit less snaps, but they always, feel better about that. Brock says Keelan ain't going to wait another year. I promise you he's looking to start next year. Absolutely. And that's why this makes it so tough, because we know that, and we know the reality of the transfer portal. Kenji says, pay Keelan more to stay. Unfortunately, man, you got people out there that would probably pay him more to start, So, man, see what I mean, guys? Like that, it's a tough dilemma. But again, this is all hypotheticals. We'll see how everything plays out. It's just, we're going into summer, dog days of summer. We got to throw out some interesting topics, some hypotheticals to talk about. But nonetheless, it's definitely going to be a tough decision. I guess I'll take it a step further, Chase. Do you feel that Austin Mack will be on the roster in be 2026 next year? For the 2026 season, do you feel like Austin Mack will still be on this roster, Chase?
No, he's not. That's what I'm afraid.
You don't think so?
No, unless he is trained with Peyton Manning every day. I don't see a growth that he's number 2 or number 1 next year. So do you think he'll, unless you're going to answer the other side of the break, do you think
No, I can answer real quick. No,
okay.
Chase, I'm going to be honest with you, man. As much as I hate politics in sports, and when I'm not talking about like Democrat, Republican policy, I'm saying politics meaning like, hey, we're going to play this guy because we pay this guy, that type of thing. Or this guy's going to get all the attention because we brought him in at this. No, I hate that crap, but I'm going to be completely honest with you, Chase. When you've got a guy like Keelan Russell, your first prize recruit for Kalen DeBoer, top recruit again. I mean, just imagine like the pride they probably feel that, hey, we found this guy before, all the sites were really on him like that. You know what I mean? Like, they're really high on this guy. Not to mention, I mean, this guy really is a really good football player, and it's got a lot of potential. I'll just be honest with you, Chase. I just don't see a path of Austin Mack playing over him. And I know it's all about, you hear me preach about it, especially the former player side. It's like best man plays. Trust me. But I also know that there is a side of this whole thing where, yes, his best man plays, But they're going to give the guy that they've got more invested in as many opportunities as possible until they can't play him. That being said, I just don't see a guy like Keelan running out of those options. You get what I'm saying? Austin Mack is going into year 3 this year because he early enrolled. That would put him he would have, after 2025, he'd have 2 years remaining. Keelan would be going into year 2. So year 3 would be, he would have exhausted all his eligibility if he sat behind Keelan by the time Keelan leaves, I'm assuming, as a junior. And now we're getting way down the line, but this is just a whole hypothetical conversation we're having here. Because of that, Chase, I don't think I see him here, man. And that goes back to the original point we were talking about, bringing in recruits. And that's why I think you definitely need to bring in maybe even 2 quarterbacks in this class. But the good news is you got transfer portal. You can always probably find another guy, even if it's just for depth. But this quarterback situation is going to be interesting down the road. The good news is, we always talk about be where your feet are. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be where our feet are right now. And I think we got a good competition going. Ty Simpson looks to be in the lead, but you got some interesting, exciting young talent behind him. We'll focus on this year, and that's what matters most because we need to get back in that playoff hunt, back in that playoff scene. So that's the main focus. But you can't deny it. Post-2025 season, there will be some interesting, decisions to be made at the quarterback position. And we're just previewing that now because it is the dog days of summer where you got to find some fun stuff to talk about. That being said, we got to hit the top of the hour break. We come back. We got hour number 2 coming up. We're just getting started. We got this Kalen DeBoer interview with former quarterback Greg McElroy. We're going to break that down, listen, respond to it, and keep on rolling from there. 205-342-9904 is the number if you guys want to jump in on the conversation. Don't be afraid. We're always open to that, and we are open on the phone lines. Plus, you guys always can drop comments in the chat section on YouTube or the inbox on the app, and we'll discuss it right here. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. All right. See what I mean, guys? This is an interesting dilemma. I'm telling you, man. If you think about it, it's going to be interesting. Best case is that this is a Mac and Bryce deal. Ty plays lights out and is a one and done, and Keelan balls out for 2. Exactly. That's literally like the ideal best case scenario. I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And I'll even take it a step further. Even if it was anybody other than Ty that just like they were a little bit more eager. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of guys are eager where like they hear 2nd, 3rd round grade, but they're like, oh man, but I still got a chance as a 1st rounder. They'll take that risk. They'll leave. Well, we're talking about a guy that's literally waited till year 4, staying here at Alabama. You get what I'm saying? Like, I think it's pretty evident that he's the type of, he doesn't have a solidified, nobody has a solidified really. Well, a couple people, right? But if he doesn't have like a sure 1st round grade, he would have no problem coming back to school, in my opinion. Clearly, I mean, he's waited 4 years. Why not just come back one more? But that's how, as a coach, how do you handle that though? I'm surprised Katie even got Mac to stay, to be honest. So you mean like right now? Yeah. I also don't think Austin Mack did himself any favors during the spring, based on the reports from everyone. Pressed way too much. That's the thing. I mean, I don't know if you saw this, Crimson, but it was like there was reports like, oh, Austin Mack very well could be the starter, or like he's making a push. And I always tell people, like, be careful what you read, man, because I go out of practice. I go to the scrimmage and stuff, and again, he's done some good stuff. You've seen him improve, man. He's everybody, they immediately, what stands out, the stature, right? Oh, this guy's 6'6", he's this, that. I mean, yeah, when he steps on the football field, I mean, this guy looks like, when I say looks like Cam Newton, I'm just saying, like, height, he's like not quite similar stature, but you guys get what I'm saying. I mean, physically, he's very impressive. But you also see that, he's still got to grow and develop some more. You can see the talent there, don't get me wrong, but when that report came out, I'm like, I don't think I've seen anything that really just immediately made me say, like, oh man, he's definitely giving Ty a run for. I'll be honest with you. I'll say this now that spring's over with, but being out there this spring, to me, Ty was kind of clearly above the other two. Now again, they've both done some good stuff this spring. You see a lot of flash out of Keelan Russell, but again, you also see a lot of when I say rookie mistakes, it's a very normal thing. It's a guy getting adjusted to the new speed of things, right? Learning a whole new system. You'll see the interceptions thrown. You'll see some of the decisions like, hey, you can't make that. He's learning, right? Totally expected. And then with Austin Mack, I just feel like the consistency really wasn't there for me. That being said, Ty was the most consistent. Ty appeared to be the most in command. We're already coming back.
3.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Ty 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well. We've been having pretty interesting conversation here, I would say, Chase. We've been talking about the quarterbacks, right? And we've been talking about how this thing might look a year from now, so to speak. Maybe a little bit less than that because it already could. Actually, the portal will be closed by now. Probably about 9 months from now, how things could look. Reason for that is you've got a guy in Ty Simpson who, again, pretty much I would deem him as the starter right now. I mean, we all feel that way, but if you go off of what Ryan Grubb said, if they took the field today, he would be the guy. He still is going to have a year remaining after this. This is his first year starting. We know he's a patient guy. There's a good chance that he could potentially come back to school another year. But then you've got the young phenom, as some people might call him, Keelan Russell. A lot of people are excited about him sitting there. What do you do? So that's what we've been discussing. So if you guys want to jump in on that conversation, 205-342-9904. The floor is open. We've been reading within the YouTube chat. We've been reading it live on air too, but just talking about everything. But like Crimson said, I can't remember if I read this live on air or not, but best case is that it's a Mack and Bryce situation. Ty plays lights out, leaves, and then Keelan Russell steps in and, basically he's there for the next 2 years. Think about it. Mack got his opportunity 2020, and he did his thing. He balled out. And then what happened? Bryce Young stepped up the next year. So obviously that's probably that is the ideal situation. And then like you guys also said, it's a good problem to have when you're kind of thinking about this. That means you at least should have at the bare minimum 2 quality players at the quarterback spot. So hopefully, it all works itself out. But again, we're just looking way too far ahead. And that's what everybody does, right? That's why everybody has the way too early top 25s, the way too early All-American list. We're just doing that, but we're just taking it from a different perspective. And we're saying the way too early issues that could be lying in the road. So that's what we've been doing. We are about to dive into this Kalen DeBoer interview with Greg McElroy. And again, we're going to break it up, discuss it, talk about it as we listen to it. But we've got an app message that just rolled in from our good friend Tia, who is a great contributor and supporter of the show. So, Chase, let's see what Tia had to say. I'm sure it's regarding this whole talk we've got going.
Yes, indeed. She said DeBoer would have to use whatever witchcraft he used to get everyone to stay this offseason. Being honest, Simpson would probably transfer and play for his dad if he doesn't do enough this year to get himself drafted. Speaking of the politics of things, Austin Mack is the only quarterback on the roster that was recruited by DeBoer and Grubb. What's the QB room order game 1 of season in terms of quarterback 1 through 3?
Chase, I'm not going to lie to you. I missed like half of that, but here's why. I just realized that I get emailed with these app messages. I did not even know that. I just saw this. It was going to this junk email, but I was skimming through one. So I'm so sorry. Is there any way you could read that one again? The funny thing is, Chase, I know you just said you have the app messages. I don't see Tia's though. I see did we get one from Jared today, or is that
that just came in like a few minutes ago.
Yeah. Okay. So funny enough, I don't have Tia's on here, but could you read it one more time? Sorry, man.
Oh no, you're all good. It's been weird anyway with this app.
Wait, hold on.
Keep sending them though. Don't stop.
Yeah. No. Oh, actually, no. Never mind. I was going to say I think I might have gotten it, but no, I lied. I don't have it. All right, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. She had said that DeBoer would have to use whatever witchcraft to use to get everyone to stay this offseason. Being honest, Simpson would probably transfer and play for his dad if he doesn't do enough this year to get himself drafted. Speaking of the politics of things, Austin Mack is the only QB on the roster that was recruited by DeBoer and Grubb. What's the QB room order for game 1 of the season in terms of like quarterback 1 through 3?
Interesting stuff to break down there. I mean, but would Ty transfer to play for his dad? I feel like he could have been done that by now. Where's his dad coach at again, guys? It's in Tennessee, right? Where's his dad coach at? It's God. Let me see. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. His dad coaches at is it UT Martin? Wait,
Yeah, it's UT Martin.
Okay, UT Martin. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I guess you could. Yeah, I guess that's the other option, man. But see, that just sucks because you're like, man, this guy waited all this. Yeah, UT Martin. Thanks, guys. It's like this guy waited all this time. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I know how this works. Even if Ty plays great this year and is eager to maybe come back, they're going to lean in Keelan's direction. Why? Because if they feel strong enough about him, which clearly they do, he's going to be your guy the next 2 years. Ty would only have 1 extra year. That would probably be the case. So maybe that does happen. I mean, that would be crazy. But hopefully he does enough to solidify himself. Again, great example. Mac Jones. The thing is, though, you look at what Mac Jones did. He led his team to an undefeated, season, all SEC schedule. I don't want to hear but it was COVID. I mean, to me, look, I played in SEC. I played non-conference games. An all SEC schedule is much more difficult, in my opinion. And I think most people would agree with that. Even without the fans in the stands or whatever the case was. But not only that, but he led college football, set a record for completion percentage. I mean, so clearly Mac Jones had that type of year. One of his receivers, which people could argue that benefited him, but I'd also say, it's a mutual relationship. In Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner, all type of records. So it was that type of season for a guy like Mac Jones. I'm just saying, look at these other quarterbacks. Again, we just saw how this draft class went. I mean, Cam Ward and Jackson Dart. Why am I drawing a blank? Those are the first 2 quarterbacks, right, Chase? And the only 2 in the first round. Third round was when was it Dylan Gabriel? Wait, I'm all over the place. You get what I'm saying, though. You got to have a really good year, probably. That probably would be the case. Let me just finish your question because I'm all over the place. I'm trying to look a million things up. Quarterback rankings going into game 1. In my opinion, Ty Simpson starter. I stand firm on that. And barring any changes, but I think that's the move. If they say there was no fall camp, I mean that's definitely the move. I'm not just going off of what Grubb said. I'm going off of that. This is my opinion. Ty won, and then this is where it gets tough. In the spring, you saw Austin Mack kind of more. Now, obviously, all were getting reps with all different groups. So I'm not going to put too much stock into that because you're talking about Keelan just got here. He's early enrollee. But my honest opinion is they're probably going to expect Keelan to surpass him for that true number 2 spot by that time. I would imagine by the end of fall camp, Keelan would surpass Austin Mack and maybe even be on the heels of a guy like Ty Simpson. I still think it's Ty's job to lose, but you guys get what I'm saying. Anything comes up, say they want to just see, you know what I mean? I think Keelan is the guy they would be curious about going in there next after Ty. So that's my outlook on that. Ty 1, Keelan 2, but right there, because again, they're really high on this guy. If he can get up to speed, I'm not gonna lie to you, he could be right there on his heels. Then Austin Mack 3. Now, don't get me wrong, Austin Mack is a good player. I mean, and you guys seen him getting in some trash duty last year. I mean, he's got the potential. It's just Keelan, to me, just seeing some of the throws he was making during the spring. I mean, Chase, I'm not gonna lie, man, and he's got kind of that swag to him. You know what I mean? Some guys just kind of have that it factor. You know what I mean? And then you just see it in him. There's sometimes he's rolling out. He's got some pressure on him, and just seeing him kind of just just like, and I'm not comparing to Patrick Mahomes, but you know how like Pat and some of these got Josh Allen or like even like Aaron Rodgers, like just some of those throws they make, like they just got that swag to it. They got a little bit of a flick, and it's like it's still accurate. You're like, damn, that was nice. Like, oh, that was damn. He does stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. He's got the highest ceiling out of the bunch, man. He's got to get adjusted. You know what I mean? Like he's going from throwing against high schoolers, now he's throwing against Damani Jackson, Xavier Brown, and company every day in practice, which is only going to make him better. But once he gets up to speed, man, that dude's cold. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, some of those throws he makes is really impressive. So that's my outlook on that. Curious what you guys think. What are y'all's thoughts? What's y'all's quarterback projections? We got to hit this time out, but go ahead and let it brew and then drop it in the chat, the app inbox, or give us a call, 205-342-9904. What's y'all's outlook and projection for the quarterback spot going into week 1 on the road against Florida State? For me, I got Ty Simpson, Keelan Russell, Austin Mack. Curious what you guys think. We got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling. Plus, we'll finally get to this interview here from Kalen DeBoer and Greg McElroy. All that coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
The fact that you and I are working here today.
Waddle got hurt too. Waddle got hurt in was that 2020 when he got hurt? Is that what you're referring to? I get the years mixed up, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm bad about that. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Quarterback outlook for week 1. All right. We're not going anywhere. I'm gonna turn the ads back on, but there he is. What's up, Q? Let me I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. Give me just a minute real quick. I'll be right back.
In Birmingham, Alabama. We are here treating patients from every generation
across the United States
and from around the world.
We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves.
We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors
who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you, aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel, a specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free.
You know what? I brought you guys a treat too. I ran to the restroom, obviously, and brought you guys a treat. Actually, I'll show you the whole thing real quick. Let me fix it up real quick though. Wait, what's going on there? Who's cussing? I'll be honest, I don't mind, but we got Pastor Q06 in here, so I'm not gonna lie to you. My dad gave up on me, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I had to clean that up sometimes. Obviously, I try not too bad, but when you play football for years and you're used to coach's dog cussing you, man, sometimes you develop a habit yourself. All right, hold on here. I got my surprise. Hold on, I'm about to come back from break. Y'all ready? 3, 2. Oh, and one. There it is. Yes, sir.
It's mostly sunny.
Thought you guys would like that.
79. I'm Shane.
But real quick, I don't have time to dive into it, but one of those is from high school, though. And welcome back into this Thursday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We got some folks rolling in here on the YouTube stream. Again, we are streaming live on YouTube as well as Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome in, everybody. If you guys are on the YouTube stream and you guys haven't already, drop us a like. That always helps us out. Again, we stream for free, obviously. But dropping a like, subscribing, all that stuff, that helps support the channel. So make sure you guys do that if you haven't. And I love that we've got a whole bunch of conversations going on in the chat. So if you guys listening via radio, want to tune into the stream, go to YouTube, type in the Miller's Edge. We're doing it live every day, 11 to 1, Monday through Friday, same time that we do the show. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I had to run to the restroom real quick during the break. And Chase, out while I was back there, I saw my my ring case. So I was like, you know what? I'll share with the YouTube stream my my ring case. Obviously, you guys get to see the helmets and my jerseys in the back, which is pretty cool, I think. And then what those are behind me is also when we win a national championship, they gift us these frames that you can see behind me if you're on stream. So like that's a picture of when we won in 2015, and then they give us also a frame of when we go to the White House. So that's what those are. That's another White House frame right there when we went in 17 with Trump. That was in 15 when we went with Obama, and then when we won in 17 right there. So if you guys are wondering what was behind me. So as you can see, I obviously attended the White House visits. I thought it was a cool experience, man. I always thought it was really cool. But anyway, Chase, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot where we were at. We were gonna dive into this interview. I know we've got some we got some stuff going on in the chat. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Q says in Hola, ¿cómo estás, Q? My brother is also learning Spanish. Ty Simpson is a future head coach, offensive coordinator. Not Hayden, no pro level quarterback. Maybe UT Martin sounds down road move. I'm not Hayden. I've been Mac all day since they chose him over Julian Sand. Dang, wait. So Q, you're saying you don't feel that he's an NFL guy? I disagree. I mean, I think he's definitely going to get a shot. Now, here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. If you're saying along the lines of, look, every year we talk about all these quarterbacks in the NFL draft, and this guy, he's going to get this guy's getting drafted. How many guys actually end up being like true quality starting quarterbacks? Not many, really, right? So now on the other side of that is, you can have a long, 7, 8, 9-year NFL career as a backup quarterback, spend some time as a starter here and there, and those guys walk away with plenty of money in their pocket, the experience, doing what they love, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But what I'm getting at is, I mean, it's not, there's only so many guys that really end up being the guy. I mean, even look at Mac Jones. I mean, Mac Jones got drafted first round, had us all year, was named to a Pro Bowl, had some interesting coaching changes. Unfortunately, didn't really see himself play at that same level in the last couple years. But he's still, fighting to get back at that point. Going to be a little bit more tough now that Brock Purdy just signed a major extension. But anyway, we'll see how that all plays out. One thing we all can agree on is with Ty versus Jones is Ty is way more mobile and likely has more arm talent. Nobody ever talks about Ty's mobility. It's like they forgot he ran a 70-yard touchdown effortlessly. He did run 79 yards effortlessly, but what he also did effortlessly was drop the football on the 1-yard line. So I'm going to need him to learn from that. Hold that damn ball until you hit your head on the goalpost, please. Do not drop it early. And he's not the only one that's made that mistake, but please don't do that. He definitely has a lot of hidden mobility, and I think you'll see that. I mean, we've seen the escapability too. The problem is, I think why it gets downplayed, to be honest with you, to answer your question, or not question, but to respond to you, Crimson, is that he's following up after a guy who was probably the most elite quarterback in recent history in college football. And so it gets downplayed a little bit because of that. But to be fair, he definitely is a very athletic guy. And I think they can still utilize his athleticism in various ways. To the extent of Jalen Milroe, hell no, absolutely not. I don't think that's necessary. But yeah, I think you still can operate a system that involves some mobility type plays, things of that nature, and he would be just fine running that. Let's see. What else we got here? So do y'all think Grubb and DeBoer are just going to say goodbye to their prize recruit in Austin Mack? See, that's another good question. But here's the thing, Tia. I don't think it's about just saying goodbye to him. I think what it is you've got decisions to make. And he might have been their prize recruit, but I'll tell you, Keelan Russell is their even more prize recruit. I mean, I showed you guys the ring category, right? I'll give you an example. This is probably a bad example, but like, all right, where's that 2014? All right, so like this is like the first ring I got when I came here. It's in 2014, we won the SEC championship. Yeah, when we beat Missouri, right? Like that was like the first ring I won. Obviously, I'd be like, man, that's like my prize ring, my very first ring I got here when I got to Alabama. That's cool. Then the following year, we win this. This is my new prize ring because this one was a national championship ring, right? And I actually was, on the field a little bit there, playing some special teams, but still, you get what I'm saying? So that's the new prize ring. If I got to give one up, guess which one I'm giving up? Even though it was the first, giving that one up. So that's probably how it would play out. We're just being completely honest here. I love that the chat finally is woken up. You guys have rose from the ashes. I love it. I'll continue to keep discussing what you guys are talking about here. But I do want to segue real quick, and let's dive into this interview real quick. We'll hear a little bit. We'll go to break, and then we'll keep on rolling. But Greg McElroy obviously works for ESPN. He also does his ESPN podcast, all that good stuff. He sat down on his show, Always College Football, with Kalen DeBoer, and they discussed a number of things. So let's go ahead and hear what Kalen DeBoer had to say when he sat down with former screen was acting kind of funny. When he sat down with former Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy on his show, Always College Football.
Well, always happy to be joined by one of my favorite people in the sport. I think he's one of the best coaches in America, and I'm excited to see what he does in year 2 at Alabama. He's Kalen DeBoer. Coach, thanks so much for the time, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. Great to be here with you, Greg. Hope you're doing well, man. Just saw you a few days ago. So.
In a very uncomfortable setting, I might add. We played in a golf tournament. For those that are unaware, there's a golf tournament here in Birmingham. All the coaches come in. Coach DeBoer's there. Trent Dilfer's there. Kirby Smart's there. Coach Saban's there. There's a bunch of guys there. Coach, I don't know about you. I hope that our conversation goes a little better than our golf game that day, but we'll give it our best shot, huh?
Yeah, this is a little bit more our element. So
I'm much more comfortable talking football than I am pulling the club. That's for sure. We'll kind of start by recapping last year. And I've said this countless times throughout the offseason. I think it's very easy in year number 1 to focus on what could have been, what was, all this other stuff. I've chosen to kind of focus on the turnover going into last year, a new voice for the first time in nearly 2 decades, and the high points of last year. So when you kind of chronicle that year 1, what kind of perspective have you gained from that experience?
Well, I think that's the big thing, is that now we have experiences that we've all shared, or most of us. There's new players coming in. There's very little staff turnover, but there's always going to be something, and we have these experiences now that we've shared, the good experiences, the experiences that didn't go as planned, that you have to learn from. And that helps us grow. We really dissect everything. You always are trying to prepare, right? Whether it's game management type things, situations. And that's what you do as a football coach. You think about all those things, and the ones that you're going to have more often, obviously you practice them more, and you try to cover the ones that might be once every 2 or 3 seasons. But there's still those feelings and how you're going to handle it. And you talk it through, and I try to bring up examples of maybe what the guys in 2023 went through. I try to reflect on a time or two there. But when you didn't go through it together, it just isn't the same. And now we've been through it together. So we've been, I think, very thorough, going back to even the winter phase of conditioning and meeting time to go through all the different things, the critical situations we were in, the turnovers we forced, the turnovers we lost, penalties both ways, other situations other teams had that maybe applied to us and ones we almost were in. There's just also another level of relationships that we have now as a coaching staff together, but also a coaching staff with our players.
I feel like, Coach, you really are, and just knowing you personally now for a number of years, I feel like you, as much as anybody, are able to really connect with the player. I think that was exemplified by how many guys stayed, how many guys, even after one spring last year, said, yeah, you know what, I want to play for this guy. And I feel like that relationship has gotten deeper. And as a result, you can ask more of the players. Now, I know it's always with good intentions, but when you have that credibility established with the players, are you able to ask more of them? How does that work?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I think I think it naturally happens because you try to really put yourself in those adverse situations as often as you can. But because then a game comes along, it's going to happen, and you got to be able to trust. And I think that's the key word, is trust that what you're saying or what they're, when I'm telling a player or our coaches are telling a player, that they know it's for our good, not just because you're upset or anything like that. And that, the real intentions are to help them be the best they can be, bring value to who they are, football player as a person, and that it's nothing about them personally. It's about what we're trying to do together to help everyone reach the goals that they have individually and we have collectively. And so, just more time together. And we are very intentional with how we spend that time together in building our culture, having the expectations, but most importantly, just growing the relationships that have that, again, trust that we all want the same thing. And we all are here for a reason. We all stayed here for a reason, chose here to be here for a reason, and that's to do great things at Alabama.
Yeah, it certainly feels like the continuity, and you just listen to the players. There's just a deeper understanding of culturally what it's going to be like, and it's different than the previous staff. But I think that's great. You got to be you, and I think that's encouraging. You bring in Ryan Grubb, I think it's funny when I've talked to Ryan Grubb, and this was, dating back to the Washington days. He goes, "Yeah, I'm the bad cop to Kalen's good cop," and I think that's kind of amazing that you guys are able to complete each other. So you've worked together so long. You're able to kind of complete each other's sentences, and hey, you can be there to love them up and he can be there to rip them apart, and vice versa. I think that's a tremendous balance that can be created offensively. So with the addition of Coach Grubb, what does your offense now have that maybe it lacked a year ago?
Well, yeah, I think there is a balance. I think that's a great word to use that I take into consideration with all my coaches, because every guy coaches different. And I might try to offset the balance with some position groups, but obviously there's got to be a balance of what we're trying to do when it comes to, who you are truly as a coach, how you operate. And, when you talk about completing each other's sentences, I've had times where, a few years ago, I can remember a specific situation where I pulled a player over to me and I said something to him, and his position coach, who I also had been with for a while, had been with this player for both conversations with me, and I didn't see the conversation he had with Coach Grubb. And we said the exact same thing, almost the exact same way, and I didn't know he had already hit on it. But I think that's just, when you're together long enough, you've had so many conversations, you've been in so many situations together. It doesn't mean that you don't change. You got to keep evolving. It doesn't mean that you always feel like you got the same exact feeling. I mean, every play caller is going to call games differently. Whether it's how I would have done it, that doesn't mean that's how, Ryan Grubb's going to do it. It falls in line with the parameters of how we want to manage a game, what we feel are the key plays. We lay out a game plan, and I see that. But, it doesn't mean it's always the same, because you have your own personality, you have your own vibe, you have your own rhythm. And I think that's what play callers do. I didn't want that and someone beating me over the head because I had a plan laid out for that next drive when I was calling plays. And so in between series, I think is that time, hey, what do you got? Or
New McCrisp. All right, so we got a commercial break on that video. So we're going to take a commercial break. Chase, how about that? And when we come back, we'll keep rolling with that and respond to it. But definitely some interesting stuff so far. Got his thoughts on year one. Obviously, I like that question that Greg asked him about kind of, obviously now having a little bit more trust with those guys. How does that kind of result, or what does that result in terms of, coaching and things like that? Kind of goes back to the whole buy-in thing we've been talking about. Definitely should be more of that. Also, him talking about Grubb and how it's nice to have him as an addition. And even with them thinking very similarly about things, there's still an added layer there because everybody does things just a little bit different in terms of, like he just mentioned, even calling games. That's a big deal, right? So, which I think the rhythm of how we kind of called things last year, which Nick Sheridan was in charge of that, I think that could be improved upon. And I think that's where Grubb comes in. He adds a different layer. But it's like he said, everybody looks at it differently. Now you've got a three-headed monster, right? You've got Ryan Grubb with the assistance of Nick Sheridan and also Kalen DeBoer putting their heads together. Not to mention a guy like Jamarcus Shepard, who Greg McElroy also said feels like is the best wide receiver coach in the country. So we're going to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on listening, keep on responding. All that coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money.
What are y'all talking about in that chat? Y'all are wild, man. What? Let me see. What is going on? All I saw something was about my mustache hair. What is going on over here, man? Yeah, I am. I'm growing out the facial hair, man. Growing out the facial hair a little bit. Growing the beard out a little bit. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm thinking about bringing back the stash. I don't know if you guys have ever seen my stash, but I'll give you a glimpse while we're on this quick commercial break. All right, because I can grow a pretty solid mustache. Matter of fact, NFL had a poll between my mustache and Gardner Minshew's mustache when I was playing with Carolina, which I know you're like, what? Yeah. Now I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think he had me beat, man. I think he had me beat, even though mine was very impressive. I'm gonna show you guys mine real quick. Hold on. Let me show you guys my stash. Here we go. Look at that stash, man. That's a stash, man. Thinking about bringing it back. So anyway, but what did you say about it, Q? Donate it to what? Oh gosh, what else are y'all talking about? Oh God, are y'all debating? What is going on? Let's see. Nothing wrong with the healthy debate, though. Wait, what was initially said? What are we debating? Let's see. Oh, okay. As long as Ty can throw slants and scared. Oh, come on, man. Why is it Miller was getting hit with strays today? No, really though. LeBron, he's definitely made a comeback with his hairline. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. All that money that dude's got, he could go get a head full of hair if he wanted. Let it go. 2 coaching staff saw both quarterbacks, said Miller was the best quarterback. That included with hidden slants and middle reads, whatever else you come up with. It's true. That's true. I feel like DeBoer could pull off a bald head. He could pull off a bald. Oh, we're coming back. Whoops.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. During the commercial break over here on the YouTube stream, I don't know what has been going on in the chat. It's very interesting today. It's good that it's very alive and well. Anyway, somebody brought up a comment about donating some of my facial hair to Kalen DeBoer, I guess. Y'all are wild. Anyway, led me to my whole thing about, I actually used to rock a pretty mean stash. And I got a picture pulled up here for the chat over on YouTube, man. Tia says, dude, I'm not going to say that guy's name on here. The Dahmer guy, like a black version of him. Really? Y'all got jokes today, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, listen, you could have said like Lionel Richie. I've gotten Lionel Richie before, but that's crazy. Anyway, all right. We were listening to and if you guys on the radio are confused again, this is kind of going on the YouTube stream. So that's what I'm telling you guys. Make sure you guys check it out if you haven't, at the Miller's Edge. No, y'all aren't going to get kicked. Again, there's nothing wrong with debating in the chat. Let's just keep it, I say friendly. I'm not saying everybody's got to be like, oh, no, it can be competitive, but you guys get what I'm saying. Just keep it respectful. That's all. Keep it respectful, man. Y'all can debate and chat. That's what it's for. That and to respond, not just to debate. Anyway, all right. We're listening to Greg McElroy sit down with Kalen DeBoer. Before we hit a timeout, we heard him talking about Ryan Grubb, the addition of him, kind of the differences, even though there's a lot of similarities. So let's go ahead and let's get this picture of my mustache off the screen, and let's go back to the video that we were listening to, and let's hear Kalen DeBoer finish his thoughts on Ryan Grubb back here in Tuscaloosa.
And then, obviously there's the big third down, fourth down calls that, when you do get that little break, maybe it's a TV timeout or something like that, or a review, you get a chance a little bit more to talk about it. But there's stall tactics sometimes you can use, at times to have a little longer conversation. We've used that in big moments, to help us make sure we are exactly on the same page. But, there's a trust. There's a trust you have, and that's really what, I think you asked what he brings and how we move forward. There's a trust that I have with him, but there's also some continuity that he has with other coaches on our staff, with Nick Sheridan. And I know that's been helpful for Ryan to speed up his process of getting to know our personnel. The why, why did we do this? Why did we do that a year ago when you're reviewing the film? And then also Jamarcus Shepard, and just that's an integral kind of threesome right there that have been together for a few years and, speak the same language as well.
Yeah, it's a great.
So I just wanted to respond real quick. That's kind of what we were just talking about a second ago, right? With all those guys putting their heads together here, then including Jamarcus Shepard. That's why I threw him in the conversation, also named as a co-coordinator. And like he just mentioned, there's a lot of continuity between the staff, right? The same offensive staff that, took that Washington football team to a national championship. Not saying, oh, now that Grubb's back, that automatically is going to be the case. But I think when you put all these pieces together with the continuity, like he said, now when you bring Grubb back, you still got Sheridan there helping him get up to speed, everything like that. The recipe seems to be clicking as you would expect, and hopefully we see that same level of click this upcoming football season, which I do feel like there definitely is going to be some big improvements, which is going to be good and definitely going to be necessary if we want to obviously get back in that playoff picture, which I feel like is very much possible, and I think that's going to happen. But obviously, a lot of things are going to fall into place, which I think they will. All right, let's continue with the interview. I think the next question is about the quarterbacks, which we've been talking a lot about today. So let's hear this question from Greg regarding quarterback competition update.
Utilized as much as it was utilized a year ago. So how much will the offense evolve based around the quarterback's skill set and comfort level?
Yeah, no. And I think all three quarterbacks we have do have the ability to extend plays, that I'm speaking your language, quarterback, what they're doing as far as moving the chains, using their legs to keep plays alive. And Austin Mack, even as big as he is, once he gets moving, he covers a lot of ground. And Ty was a great dual threat, and Keelan has the same abilities to make people miss, and probably faster than most people think. But I think we are more similar as a group, as you mentioned, I think in your own words, than maybe the diversity of who we had as far as skill sets and how different they were, and how you wanted to use it. Jalen, as far as
I'm the guy sitting next to your girl.
Of course, there's another ad, so I'm just letting that play real quick. But that is interesting that he's talking about that, kind of the differences there with this year in terms of last year, Jalen being a lot different than other guys. This year, obviously, a lot more similarities. And I agree with them. Seeing guys like Austin Mack, Ty Simpson, even, Keelan Russell, all in practice in the scrimmages and all that stuff, they all do have, some wheels. And I agree with them. I remember I was watching one scrimmage, and Austin Mack, he took off, he scrambled, and I was like, man, he's a lot faster than I thought too. So, again, a lot of these guys all have some really good potential, and that definitely excites you when you look at this quarterback position. Let's continue on with the interview.
Explosiveness. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it with a quarterback that could use his legs or had that luxury in that fashion. And you have to make sure you're utilizing the skill sets of your players. Jalen certainly had like I refer to it as a superpower that we had to make sure we had incorporated into our plan.
Yeah, he was dynamic for sure. The quarterback competition, I know right now you have three guys all are repping at the position, trying to figure out, all right, how do we want to maybe cut it down to two or what have you? But what do you want to see from your quarterback? What is the most important aspect of securing that spot and being your starter here in year number 2?
Yeah, I think just continued growth. They're all on the right track. They're all super invested, as you would expect. And they're all just, again, I talked about a healthy competition and who they are as people. They are finding the ways to lead in their own way, because that's probably the hardest thing when you have a quarterback battle. You want them not to step on each other's toes, but they also need to kind of take it and run with it when they have their opportunities, and they need to speak up. That's when you really find out, who are the guys that the rest of the team, follows along with, not just the plays on the field, but who they are as leaders. So these guys are again, balancing the reps. Keelan started out lower, and as he really earned more and more reps, we gave him those, and they're all making those strides in their own ways. Ty taking the steps. And so I think I've mentioned many times, we're not where we need to be. And that might sound like a knock on those guys, but that's expected. Like, there's a progression, there's a process these guys got to be on. None of them have taken this overwhelming number of college snaps, especially in a game, much less, with the ones on the practice field. So we're trying to, keep them moving, speed up the process for all of them, while we're also balancing the reps that each of them are getting. And, they're earning those reps. And I really appreciate the way they've handled it. And trying not to press too much is the thing for them. I think the pressure of fighting for a quarterback job is probably as stressful as anything they're going to go through. And, there's moments in a game when, 100,000 people are screaming. That's pretty stressful, but what they're doing, trying to win that job, that's managing some level of stress too. And they got to perform under those own conditions. And I think that's one of the adverse situations that you actually put these guys in before they step on the football field game one that actually can help them.
Yeah, and I think it's great to have a three-way quarterback battle, and every rep is counted and it's meaningful. And I think it's the way to do it. Perfect world. Do you have like a day where you'd like to have it decided? Granted, they got to go earn it. They got to go take it. I understand that, but in your mindset as a coach for the last 20 some odd years, is there a time frame where it's like, all right, guys, we got to decide?
Mm-hmm. There's been roughly a similar kind of time frame throughout fall camp, and the last week and a half. I mean, we usually have a little bit longer of a phase of game. We call them bonus practices leading up to week one. And, there's a weekend before and then a few days before that. That's kind of when you really for sure like to have the starter named and him be able to start really being in sync with his receiving core, gelling that way, and really dialing on the reps. But, if you feel like you're at that point earlier, it's been a few practices earlier, maybe a week earlier at some point. I've had a lot of these, kind of competitions over the years. As you mentioned, we do it for 25 years, probably. I don't know, it's 3, 4, 5, but there's been a handful of competitions to some level where there's 2 guys, 3 guys, a guy coming in that's a transfer, all that. You really got to be thorough. I think, in the end, it's who can move the ball down the field. People sometimes get caught up into who's great now, who had the best, completion percentage, all those things. Those are all important, right? But I think.
So I just wanted to stop that real quick because I know there's always this conversation. I saw it kind of pop up over in the chat, but in terms of battles and things like that, you heard the man. He talked about having them the last 25 years or so. And the reason I stopped it there is because he just mentioned all the things that they look at when they're going through quarterback battles. And I know one thing that gets, brought up a lot, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but the whole the battle between Jalen and Ty, was it really even a battle? It was a battle, and you just heard him talk about all the things that they look at, right? He just said, they break down completion percentages, they go through the tape, and they're talking about each practice, and that's true. Because I even know defensively, one thing that they do, they go and grade practices defensively here. I'm referring to these new coaches. And they have a true grade system that was a little bit more extensive than even what we used to do. We used to have a plus minus type deal. And I forgot the way they go about it, but I remember seeing it and I was like, dang, it's pretty interesting. But anyway, so for you guys wondering about the whole, when Jalen won the quarterback battle, again, it wasn't just, he was a starter last year. No. It was a lot of these same reasons as well. Completion percentages, how they move the ball downfield and things of that nature. That all went into the equation. So I just thought I'd stop it right there and respond to that point that he just made.
In the end, it's who's moving the ball down the field for, the ones, the twos, most consistently when you're here in practice each and every day.
And it to me, and this is no disrespect to last year's group whatsoever, but I do feel like last year's receiving group, look, Ryan was amazing, but let's be real. Ryan wasn't on campus a year ago today, which is insane that he did what he did. And played as well as he did. Jeremy Bernard had never been in a traditional, hey, give me the ball type of guy. He'd been a gadget guy and had been very effective in that role. But the other guys, they were kind of trying to figure out, all right, how do I fit in? It feels like with the addition of Isaiah Horton, with the progress that we're expecting from Ryan Williams, with Jeremy Bernard being a little more comfortable being a featured player, it feels like the supporting cast is just much better than it was a year ago for whoever takes the quarterback spot. Is that a fair assessment of how much that room has grown?
Yeah, I think that's a really accurate assessment. And some of it.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car
insurance. We got
insurance.
another break, so we're good. We're just going to pause real quick. But they're about to get into the receiver room, which definitely good conversation. I like Greg's point. You talk about last year, Ryan Williams, 17 years old, came on campus late. We saw what he was able to do. Jeremy Bernard, just getting into that spot, right? The progress he's going to make. Isaiah Horton. Let's see what Kalen DeBoer has to say about this new look wide receiver room that they're expected to have.
Isn't their fault. It's just a matter of time that it takes to learn the system. And another year now, I just saw, and I knew this was going to happen. These guys were talking about it over a month ago. Many of them going and meeting at a location here in the month of May. And we've cautioned them not to do too much, because the summer is going to be as hard as one they've ever been through. But, just the ability to get together and them doing it on their own and that desire to do it. And then also know what to work on, and like you said, Ryan wouldn't have known maybe other than a few little things, what those route concepts were. Germ knew it because he was part of the offense before, but he's still got to translate it to the other guys in the room. And then I think just the talent level, the consistencies. These guys don't just aren't slotted into one position now. They can play multiple positions. They can move around. They can have really productive sessions, whether it's individually or, 7-on-7s, just whatever workout they're in, film room, together, talking through it. A lot of them are watching their one-on-one clips from the spring, maybe even going back to last year, just talking through the details on where they expect the ball. There's a lot more of just, the verbiage, the in sync, the details, I think is really what you get round two here that you didn't have maybe a year ago.
I wanted to stop that. I thought that was interesting. So if anybody's wondering about like the specifics of really all the details that go into this stuff, I mean, you're hearing him talk about more so than even he's saying Ryan Williams wouldn't have known exactly like, what the expectations were from their specific route tree, even though, yes, route tree is a route tree. And I made that comment the other day because that is true. I mean, there's only so many routes you run. People just kind of have little variations in them. Maybe some people might like, a dig ran at, 10 versus 12. You get what I'm saying? Like the yardage changes, stuff like that. That being said, you hear him discuss that. And I think that's really nice that he's detailing all these things because anytime you're ever wondering like, oh man, like you immediately put something on a quarterback or immediately put something on one player position, you got to remember, I mean, there's little nuances and things that all go into the equation. And one thing that doesn't get pointed out enough, and it's hard for any broadcaster or anybody who's even watching to really know, because they don't necessarily know exactly what the coaches, have been coaching these guys to do. But receivers, man, it's very specific. It's not as just, oh, okay, just run a curl. No, I mean, there's very specific details on depths. If you got, certain type of press or guys playing off, where you're going to break it in or out, how you're going to go about responding to a certain way that a guy plays on you in terms of his technique and coverage and leverage. There's so many factors. So it's cool just to hear him discuss some of those in this interview.
Yeah, I would imagine that group collectively, I'm very encouraged and excited to see how the offense performs. Defensively, it's like, hey, let's rinse and repeat. Like we did a lot of really good things down the stretch last year. And I think changing the system, man, I think people are like, oh, well, they just went from man to zone. Like, it's not that easy, And it's, by the way, there's a lot of man now too. But terminology, comfort level within the system, I think there was a bit of a learning curve there, and Coach Womack's group down the stretch really started to find themselves. But the one area that I'm going to be really curious about is the pass rush, and how do you create that pass rush this upcoming year, knowing there's so many new faces and guys that are expected to have increased roles from where they were a year ago.
Yeah, no, you're right, and I think the man zone thing, it's never even how you planned. I know you can look at a coordinator's history and what he did, and Coach Womack, and kind of know that that's maybe the direction you want to go. But I remember specifically through much of the season, us talking about the percentages and it being way more man than probably what we originally thought going in. And
another quick little commercial as we wrap things up, though. I'll let him finish this comment as we get off the air. But definitely, a definitely interesting conversation here because he's right. Going into the year, we all talked about the vision coverage and all that stuff that we were going to see from Kane Womack. But if you go watch the tape, I mean, this team ran man like honestly almost like too much. It almost got to a point it was a lot. But anyway, let's hear him finish this comment as we wrap things up.
Players, but also some of that is just trying to maybe force the issue on some aggression, whether it's the pass rush as you referred to, and us trying to manufacture that. I think there's some of that schematically, and then there's also a technical thing that comes into play as far as our guys, just more experience when you think about LT and Jamarian Latham, and just go Quay Rusaw, you just keep going down the line. That's the some of the edge guys. And then, they take that in the interior wise. And I think, again, it always comes down to, you got to win your one-on-one battle, but all of them working in sync and us understanding the strengths of just the interior push that maybe a Tim Keenan can bring and how best to utilize him. James Smith, a couple new faces in there. We don't have Tim anymore, but a lot of consistency, a lot of continuity to where we can tweak it. The number of calls, maybe, it isn't necessarily the call sheet, but it's how many times you call certain things. There's still got to be an aggression. That's how we're going to play when it comes to pressures and so forth, forcing the issues, the coverages that come along with it. I think a lot of it, though, comes down to just finishing a play. There's some.
And we're running out of time, so we'll leave it there. And that's a good thing to leave it on, finishing, right? He mentioned LT Overton. That guy finishes a little bit more. His sack production definitely goes up, but definitely going to be something they need to improve on. That pass rush production, I think that'll be big. And as you heard from him, different ways to go about it. And curious to see how that looks this upcoming season. All right, we got to get out of here. Make room for T-Town Sports coming up next. Appreciate everybody via radio, via YouTube. Shout out to all you guys, all our listeners. Shout out to Chase Behind the Glass. making everything happen. Looking forward to doing it again in 22 hours, 11 o'clock a.m. Central Time tomorrow, right here, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, as well as YouTube at The Miller's Edge. We'll see you guys tomorrow.